We're doing a local business focus as we do about once a month. And Judy Ryan is here. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Fuchsia?
Yes.
Is it? I'm on fire today. I'm just on fire. So you're with Lifework Systems. You're the owner.
Yes.
So what is it that you guys do?
Well, we go in and we help people to create environments where everybody can get along and they can get good results together and be productive.
Wow.
Yes.
She'd never get out of this building, much less this room.
If you can cure this, you're going to get a lot of business.
Yeah.
So in what sort of a circumstance?
Well, a lot of times we work with companies that are doing mergers and acquisitions, and they're in a lot of turmoil because people get stressed out and then they're not at their best.
Yeah.
And then we also work with people that just really value workplace culture and they want it to be the best it can be.
And we talk a lot here, which I'm sure you're an expert on at this point, like integrating Mark 62, and then we have Taliban, who's a 25-year-old millennial. Mm-hmm. Those are two completely different animals. Mm-hmm. And it's one thing on a silly radio show, but if you're actually producing something and they have to work together and they have two completely different ways of approaching a problem, now you have gridlock.
Well, I'm really glad that you talked about millennials because I think that the reason that people are so hypercritical of millennials at times, but the reason that they do the job hopping and some of the things they do is because they're very sensitive to whether an environment is set up to control people or whether it's set up to be collaborative and to invite their contributions. And when you have a really healthy workplace culture, all the different age groups get along well.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, the answer is yes, that you customize to each workplace, but how similar are workplaces? What sort of solutions that you have tend to work for most people?
Well, I think one of the things that is important is that people understand what is a poor workplace and what is a healthy workplace. So a lot of times people are not really clear about that. And what that usually looks like is, are you using methods and approaches that help people to be fully engaged and to really feel like they're empowered in the environment, that they're actually lovable. I know that's not a very popular word in corporate America sometimes, but it should be, because we actually say we can't be so personal at work because we don't have the system set up in which to be personal at work. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you guys are a good example of where you can be personal. And the same goes in families and in schools. We say, well, we can't be a good friend and be a good authority figure. Well, you can if you set up a certain kind of culture. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. And that seems like, wow, what a trick that is, because we live in this zero tolerance world, and you can't have any of that when you have zero tolerance. You have to have room to move. You have to have sort of squishy walls.
Well, and actually they're quite firm walls, but the walls that we recommend that people do is that they hold a high expectation for people to take responsibility for a lot more than they're doing, but not using control methods to get them there. So if you try to coerce people or you try to create fear in them, they're not going to pick up that responsibility effectively.
Barclay, shut up. So just give an example there. So
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, what doesn't work. So.
It's really interesting because our most popular program is called Redirecting Negative Behavior. Yeah. And everybody brings us in for that a lot of times because there's all of this negative behavior showing up. But if you created the right environment in a workplace, 90% of your misbehavior goes down. And you have less need to even learn the skills to redirect it.
So employees who right now people are thinking of, oh, yeah, that's Larry, who they think of as completely negative, can not only stop the negative, but can be a very useful, productive employee.
Right, exactly.
So don't throw him away. Don't fire him.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are thrown away and invalidated. And I find that the happiest thing I can hear is, I did not think we could turn that situation around. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times misbehavior is happening and we don't even recognize it because it's not always conflict. It could be that person that's super high skills, but pompous and they're not a team player. And everybody kind of inside wants to take them down a peg or two.
She's just nailing all of us.
Right.
Remember, don't throw us away. We're not disposable, you know.
Yes,
for God's sakes.
And so we really hit some things head on. Like one of the big things we hit head on is even things like gossip.
Yeah.
Understanding why people gossip, what to do instead, because that's a very virulent toxic thing in workplaces.
It is. Tony's gay.
Except we do it live on the air every day. So
do you go into tiny shops and big giant companies? And
that's a great question. We actually do both. Our smallest client is 7 employees, but we have a client that has 1,500 employees. So the way that we're able to manage that is we use a combination of online training, and live training so that we can be very distributive anywhere in the country.
That's really cool. So lifeworkssystems.com and then getmyculturebook.com. So you have a book also.
Yeah, I have a book. I'm a columnist also in 2 magazines, but the book right now, we're running a promotion on it. So we're giving it away, especially to business owners and leaders that want to understand all the basic questions about workplace culture. How do I even know if I need to change my workplace? Right. What would I change it into? You know, is there a process for changing it? Because it's kind of like a big old puzzle. And somebody might say, well, is it leadership development? Yes. Is it team building? Yes. Is it good communications? Yes. It's all of those things.
And like with everything you don't know what you don't know. And so you think you know everything, you don't know everything.
Right. So the book is kind of simple in that it answers those basic questions. And then we also give away some e-learning and some assessments and things so that they get a smorgasbord of what they could receive.
So getmyculturebook.com or lifeworksystems.com. Can people find you on Facebook or Twitter?
Yes, we've got Lifework Systems on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+. We're all over the place.
Cool. Awesome. Nice to meet you. Thanks.
Thank you.